Welcome into another episode of the Saturday Report. Today, we're finally doing it. We're finally going to go through and predict the entire college football playoff. If you missed it, a couple of weeks back, I predicted who I believe will make it to the playoff. So we have the outline of the bracket already set. But in today's video, we're going to go through who I believe wins each of these games, and eventually we're going to crown a national championship by the end of this video. So if you missed the video a couple of weeks back, let me catch you up here. First off, we got our first four seeds in here. Number 1, overall, Notre Dame. Number 2, we've got Ohio State. Number 3, we've got Miami. And number 4, we've got Georgia, rounding out the top 4. Now, those 4 are going to have the first round byes. So what I'm really looking at here, actually, let me round out the full top 12 before I tell you what I'm looking at. At number 5, we've got Texas Tech making it in. At number 6, we've got Indiana. Number 7, LSU makes it into the playoffs. Number 8, Oregon. Number 9, Texas makes it in. At number 10 and number 11, we've got a couple schedule plays here. These teams I don't believe are a part of the top 12 best teams in the country, but I think their schedule sets them up so that they can go 10-2, and it is a likelihood they go 10-2 and make the playoffs. At number 10, we've got Penn State. At number 11, we've got Louisville. And at number 12, our G6 team that makes it in is going to be Boise State. Here is what I'm thinking about for these teams. Here's what I'm excited about for the first 4 games that we're going to see in the college football playoffs this year if the bracket shakes out like this, which we all know. Everybody's putting their brackets out. Everybody's talking about their brackets right now. Nobody knows anything. I want to remind everybody watching this video that I understand I don't know anything. I understand that nobody knows anything going into this year. You don't know who's going to play above their grade. You don't know who's going to play below their grade. You don't know who's going to just pop off this year. Like, who would have expected Trinidad Chambliss to be what he was at the beginning of last year? He didn't even start the season for Ole Miss. That was Austin Simmons, who's now over at Missouri. So there's still so much up in the air. There's still so many question marks. If the bracket were to shake out like I have it set here, the thing I'm most excited for are these are going to be some amazing first-round games and some amazing first-round venues that we get to watch. Number 1, I'm going to start in the top left corner. We got Texas playing at Oregon. Can you imagine the atmosphere for this game? Remember, Oregon, they hosted a playoff game last year. The atmosphere around Eugene is not even going to be in the same realm of what it was last year whenever they played that game. When you got Texas coming into town, a big game like this, the atmosphere is probably just going to be second to none. Nothing like we've ever seen in Eugene, and Eugene's put some really, really good crowds and really great atmospheres on display. Top right corner, we got Penn State playing at LSU. First playoff game in Death Valley. That's going to be a movie. Bottom right corner, Louisville at Indiana. Indiana hosting a playoff game for the first time ever as well. That's going to be something we got to watch. And then bottom left corner, Texas Tech hosting Boise State. Maybe it's the game that is the least sought after of all these 4, but would still be a fun watch. Still something that all college football fans are going to be tuned into. At least all diehard college football fans are going to be tuned into. So in the same order, let's predict who I believe is going to win and who's going to lose these games. In the first game, Texas coming into Oregon. I've got Texas winning this game. Not to spoil it, I'm going to give you a couple reasons why, but I've got Texas winning this game. Number 1, because I believe Steve Sarkisian at this point is still going to be coaching for his job. Dan Lanning is coaching for maybe some of the brownie points of being able to get past that big game, and I know he wants to get past that big game. One of the marks on Dan Lanning recently has been in those big games, he hasn't been able to show up and have his team play their A game. And because of that, a lot of people aren't going to be picking them to move far enough down their playoff bracket. I don't know if I've seen anybody picking Oregon to completely win the college football playoffs, but I've seen some people getting them to the quarterfinals, semifinals. I think in this first round game, if Texas is the one coming into Oregon, Sark has a whole lot more to coach for than Dan Lanning does. I also think Arch Manning has a whole lot more to play for than Dante Moore does. And for those 2 reasons, on top of just the aliens that Texas has at wideout, as on top of the sheer talent that Texas has roster-wise. I know Oregon's got a really talented roster as well. Texas is going to be a little bit more battle-tested, I believe, coming out of the SEC, and I believe all of that culminates into Texas winning very close in Oregon. Next game, we got Penn State playing at LSU. Again, I don't think Penn State's one of the top 12 best teams in the country, or the top 11 best teams in the country, if we're taking Boise State out of this as well. I believe LSU is one of the top 12 best teams in the country if all things are clicking. Remember, this defense is still loaded. You still got Blake Baker at defensive coordinator. The question marks are around your run game. Can you get a run game going? Well, Lane Kiffin's been able to do that recently. Over the last 5-6 years, he has the top rushing offense in the SEC in totality as a whole, not in any individual 1 year, but as a whole combined, he knows how to run the football. Sam Leavitt, the wide receivers, those are a couple other question marks as well. But I don't doubt Lane Kiffin's ability to put a good offense on the field. Penn State, they've got everything turned over there as well. You got essentially half the Iowa State roster coming over with Matt Campbell. I think it's great that they got to this point. It's a win for Penn State fans once you get rid of James Franklin to get into the playoffs. However, you are going to drop this game to LSU. Bottom right corner, Louisville playing at Indiana. Again, Louisville not being one of the top 12 best teams in the country. Indiana, Kurt Cignetti, he's going to figure out how to win games. Whether they dominate on defense, whether they move the ball and push the ball on offense, I don't think this game's particularly close. I think Indiana runs away with a victory here. And then lastly, Boise State playing at Texas Tech. We've seen the G6 games play out for a couple of years now. We know that they're not necessarily close. This one might be a little bit closer than some would want it to be around the Texas Tech sphere. But I think Texas Tech still runs away with a victory here, probably by at least 2, if not 3 scores. So that sets us up for round 2. We've got Texas at Notre Dame. These are all going to be neutral sites, so at is subjective here. We got Texas playing Notre Dame, LSU playing Ohio State, Miami playing Indiana in a rematch of last year's national championship, and then Georgia playing Texas Tech. Let's go in the same order as we did last time, and starting in that top left corner, we got Texas playing against Notre Dame. This is another one of those situations where I think Steve Sarkisian just has a whole lot more to coach for than Marcus Freeman does. Now, does that mean Texas is going to outright win this game 10 times out of 10? Absolutely not. Notre Dame is going to be fielding a great team. CJ Carr in his second year, a lot of people are picking him to be one of the top quarterbacks in the country, if not the top quarterback in the country. And there's way more question marks around Arch Manning than there are around CJ Carr right now. However, Steve Sarkisian at this point, I don't know if he's still coaching for his job. If they got into the playoffs as a 9 seed, that means they barely skirted in. People are going to want to see a lot coming out of this team because of how much they've invested in the talent and how much talent they actually have on the team. Very high expectations around Texas this year, and because of that, Steve Sarkisian has to get them to the next level. This is going to be a close game no matter what. I don't see any possibility in this game where one team runs away with it compared to the other. So whoever wins it, it's going to be close. Definitely, I would guess, within a score. But I've got Texas taking this game because they have so much more to play for, I think, than Notre Dame. Yes, Notre Dame wants to go and win the national championship. Yes, they want to prove that they still belong with the big boys in college football. I think the last few years have already proven that for them. I think they absolutely belong with the big boys. They absolutely have put themselves back in that perennial top 5, top 10 conversation. Sark's just got a whole lot more to coach for right now. Next game we're going to LSU playing Ohio State. This comes down to talent, 100% for me. And yes, LSU has great talent. They also have a lot of young talent. You have to remember, LSU is likely going to be rolling out playing 2 true freshmen as their starting defensive tackles. They are very light in the defensive end room. They're very light in the cornerback room. So if one injury happens, if a guy has to miss a couple of drives here or there, it could be the game for them, especially whenever you got talent like Ohio State does. The big question mark here is, can the LSU defense, if their cornerbacks are healthy, if their defensive backfield is healthy, can they shut down Jeremiah Smith in the pass game? Because if so, and that LSU defense is going to be nasty this year, if so, this game's going to be really close, and they can absolutely pull away the victory or pull out the victory. Lane Kiffin is going to have some tricks up his sleeve, I still believe, and Charlie Weiss Jr. are going to have some tricks up their sleeve offensively. They should be able to score this game no matter how vaunted that Ohio State offense is going to be, or defense is going to be. They should be able to score this year or in this game. But I think if you play this game 10 times, Ohio State probably wins it 8 at very least. So I got Ohio State winning in this round. Miami playing Indiana, a rematch of last year's national championship game. Kurt Cignetti's going to be coming in, probably feeling pretty good coming off of a really big victory against Louisville. We've also seen historically, whenever you have a first-round bye, these teams with a first-round bye have a tough time playing up to their standard. I don't know if it's the extra weeks off. I don't know if it's just knocking the rust off and that first half is just a little bit shaky. But Miami's going to have a whole lot to play for as well. They still got a chip on their shoulder from how the game ended last year. I think if you're Miami, last year you're essentially a quarterback away. And I don't want to say Carson Beck was trash. I don't want to say that he was just bad. But I don't think that he had the sheer talent that Darian Mensah is going to be providing you this year. And at the end of the day, at the end of this game, because you do lose a lot on the line of scrimmage if you're Miami, you're probably going to reload there. There's still some question marks around that. I think for this game right here, Darian Mensah is the game changer. He is the reason why I've got Miami winning this game and heading into the semifinals. And then lastly, you got Georgia playing Texas Tech. This is one that I don't see being all that close. Yes, Texas Tech is going to be fielding a great roster. Georgia, they're going to be fielding a great roster as well. If you missed my preview on Georgia, I'm extremely high on Georgia this year, especially with Gunnar Stockton coming back. If he can figure out a little bit more of that accuracy, he is deadly with his legs. He is running hard. They are going to be dynamic, I believe, on offense. I think this is the year that they could really break through. I don't see this game being particularly close. I got Georgia winning this game. So now your semifinals are set. You got Texas playing Georgia on one side of the bracket, so there will be an SEC team that makes the national championship this year. A sigh of relief for fans of SEC teams everywhere, because all we've been hearing over the last few years is how the SEC is completely fallen off. They can't even make a national championship game. Well, one of these two teams, Texas and Georgia, have to make it to the national championship if the bracket were to play out this way. On the other side of the bracket, we've got Ohio State playing Miami. Both of these games are going to be must-see TV, first of all. So if the bracket plays out this way, we've got a whole bunch of great football that we're going to be watching ahead. Let's start on the left side of the bracket, Texas playing Georgia. One thing to think about here is Texas and Georgia do not play each other during the regular season. This is not going to be the game where they both had the chance to feel each other out earlier in the season. Now they're just going to make those adjustments and walk in and have different game plans, and we'll see who the better of the chess match is after they've already played each other. No, this is going to be both teams walking in with a clean slate against each other. Texas is going to be pretty beaten up going into this game. Not only do they have a much tougher regular season than Georgia does by SEC standards or by schedule standards, but they just got done playing the number 8 and the number 1 overall team in the country, where Georgia had to play Texas Tech, and that's it. Oregon and Notre Dame both are going to be tougher games than Texas Tech. I don't think I'm ruffling any feathers there, but I likely am. Not only this, but both teams, I think, roster-wise, match up well. Meaning, I don't think one team has a significant roster advantage over the other. I think it's pretty easy to believe that Texas is going to have the better wide receivers. Georgia's probably going to have the better defense overall. Question comes down to, I think, who's the healthier team and who is the more prepared team at this point, and I have to believe that's Georgia. Bonus point for Texas here. Steve Sarkisian, if he does this and gets all the way to the semifinals all over again, he has saved his job. He's not going to get fired. He has made it. He's secured a job for the following year. I don't think that this is a national championship or bust as far as if we don't make the national championship, Steve Sarkisian's fired. But if he doesn't make it this far, job's still in limbo. So he gets it this far. He does not win the game. Georgia wins. Georgia heads to the national championship. On the other side of the bracket, Ohio State and Miami. This is going to, I think, be the better of the two games. I think both of these teams match up really, really well together. I just think at the end of the day, Ohio State is going to have the talent advantage. Ohio State is going to have not really the rest advantage, but I think playing Indiana is just going to be a little bit more taxing than playing a team like LSU. And because of that, I think Ohio State walks in this game a little bit fresher. They're hungry as well. They definitely want to make it to that next level. Ryan Day is not satisfied with one national championship under his belt. I think they have the slight talent advantage. So Ohio State makes it to the national championship game. And we've got Georgia playing Ohio State for the national championship. And between these two teams, coin flip. I have no clue who would win this game. Based on the roster advantage, based on the talent advantage, I think it's all going to be who shows up that day more ready to play football. And because there's so much hunger around Athens right now, because there's so much hunger around the Georgia program, so many expectations around Kirby Smart himself, and I think he's been with Georgia the last couple of years, they've had teams that they would not consider their standard as far as roster construction goes, as far as team quality goes. Now this year, they've got a little bit older of a team. They've got an experienced quarterback. Kirby's hungry to win another championship. He's hungry to get back up to the top of the sport. Not saying Ryan Day isn't, but I think that alongside Gunnar Stockton and his legs is going to propel them to a national championship victory. And I've got Georgia winning the national championship in this 2026 college football season. And there we have it. Those are my 2026 college football playoff projections. If you're watching this, I'm sure you disagree with a whole lot of what I said today. So whether it's who makes it into the playoffs, who would win, and what matchups and what pairings we have here, leave your opinions in the comments. Also, make sure to like and subscribe. We are on the road trying to get to 500 subscribers by week 1 of the college football season. It's on a tight squeeze here. It's a very big goal that I have set for the channel. It's going to take a lot for us to get there. So if you enjoy the content, if you want to keep coming along with us as we build this channel, as we put out more content, please make sure to subscribe below, and we'll catch you next time here on the Saturday Report.